Damage 365 Radio with your host Kevin Nasta and John Torrey.
There is only one. It's time to play the game. Time to play the game! It's all about the game, and how you play it, all about control. And if you can take it, all about your debt. And if you can pay it, it's all about pay. And who's gonna make it?
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Damage 365 Radio. This is episode number 36. And I want to say hello to everybody out there, especially everybody that we got to meet in Atlantic City, New Jersey this past weekend at Bizarre AC, or Bizarre Bazaar. As we got to meet Jasmine St. Clair in person, got a couple photo ops with her, met with Mr. Gene Snitsky, had a conversation with him, let him know that we'll be seeing him soon at a JCW event, and he let us know that it'll be absolutely, positively, no problem getting a sit-down interview with a man who says it's never his fault, Gene Snitsky. But without further ado, let's get to the show. And we like to get a quick birthday segment here. Only had a couple of birthdays this week. So I guess we did a good job not having so many birthdays before Christmas. But happy birthday to Damage infielder Richie Gonzalez. Nice to have him back for the 2014 season. And happy birthday to Damage alumni Anthony Girardi. Happy birthday to both Richie Gonzalez and Anthony Girardi of Damage Athletics Softball. Happy birthday, guys.
We promised you a great main event tonight. Andres, a giant. WrestleMania!
Hulkamania is running west.
My God, what a run!
And we're going to get into our round number 2 of our Golden Era tournament, which saw the likes of the Ultimate Warrior and Yokozuna, Shawn Michaels, Kerry Von Erich, and eliminated in round number 1. So let's move on to round number 2, the round that has 32 members of the Golden Era left. And it was Andre the Giant defeating Brutus the Barber Beefcake to advance. It was Double A, Arn Anderson, defeating the Big Boss Man, and he advances to take on Andre the Giant. So will Double A, the Enforcer, be able to take on Andre the Giant in round number 3? That will remain to be seen. It was the Dynamite Kid defeating Rikishi and moving on to round 2 as the Undertaker buried Diesel. So it'll be the Undertaker versus the Dynamite Kid. It was the Macho Man, Randy Savage, in a very technical match defeating Mike Rotunda, aka IRS. In another very solid technical match, it was Mr. Perfect defeating the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. So it'll be Randy Savage versus Mr. Perfect, which will also be a rematch from the Intercontinental Championship tournament. So let's see if Mr. Perfect can get some revenge in round number 3. It was the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes defeating Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And it was Bob Backlund defeating Rick the Model Martel. So it'll be Dusty Rhodes and Bob Backlund in round number 3. It was Tully Blanchard defeating Rowdy Roddy Piper. And the Dream, tournament has continued for Team Sheiky as the Iron Sheik defeated Earthquake, the second monster he's defeated. So it'll be Iron Sheik versus Tully Blanchard. Greg the Hammer Valentine defeated Tony Atlas, and it was Owen Hart defeating Jake the Snake Roberts. So it'll be Greg the Hammer versus Owen Hart. It was the Genius Lanny Poffo defeating Paul Roma, and it was Bret the Hitman Hart defeating the Honky Tonk Man. So it will be Lanny Poffo versus Bret the Hitman Hart in round 3. In the final round of 32, it was Hulk Hogan defeating Ravishing Rick Rude, and it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat defeating Paul Mr. Wonderful Orndorff, and it will be Hulk Hogan versus Ricky the Dragon in round 3. To recap, Hogan versus Steamboat, Bret Hart versus Lanny Poffo, Owen Hart versus Greg Valentine, Iron Sheik versus Tully Blanchard, Bob Backlund versus Dusty Rhodes, Mr. Perfect versus Randy Savage, The Undertaker versus Dynamite Kid, and Andre the Giant versus Arn Anderson. And that was round number 2 of our tournament for the Golden Era. As that will complete that one. That was a very exciting round as well. A couple people that I didn't think were gonna drop did drop. And let's get speaking about dropping. Let's I don't want to say let's drop it like it's hot. But let's get into an interview that we conducted last week at JCW's event with the ECW legend Rhino. It was a great segment, and we thoroughly enjoyed it because he's a crazy guy. But let's get into that interview quick, so we leave ourselves with plenty of time for our guest at the end of the show, Angel Orsini, former multi-world champion. So let's get into that.
We're here with ECW legend. I'm going to call you a legend because you are, because ECW is legendary. Rhino. A couple questions I wanted to ask you. How bad do you miss ECW?
Obviously, people that were part of that in-ring experience, will miss it to a certain extent, but like the fans, they were a big part of it too, and they miss it too. I would lie. I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss it, but I miss it, But I've been very blessed throughout my whole life and career, so, so I definitely, I have other things too, that have really touched my life, in a special way, kind of like ECW.
Okay. First time I ever actually saw you in the ring was
Don't lie to me.
an ECW show in Staten Island, New York.
Are you lying?
At Sports Fest. No.
Okay.
It was inside a bubble. Al Snow was there too.
I never wrestled in a bubble.
Well, you didn't wrestle. You were there.
Oh, okay.
It was the first time I ever heard about you.
That's what
And actually, the Dudley boys spilled into the hockey ring, which we were playing.
Oh, okay.
And started hitting each other with my brother's hockey sticks. So Al Snow actually remembered that and got a kick out of it when we interviewed him a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
But
how's Al doing?
He's Al.
Yeah, great guy. He actually once told me, if there's a zombie apocalypse, just barricade yourself in your house, but line your house up with treadmills. So they'll just keep on walking on the treadmill. They'll never actually get into your house. I was like, that's genius.
That's Al Snow.
Yeah.
You're one of the few that's WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA. What was the major difference? I mean, ECW was a little bit smaller, but what was the major difference, you think, between WCW, WWE, TNA?
I was very fortunate to be able to, work in each company, and perform. They were all different, and it's under the same umbrella, But as far as each were a little different in the timing, like in the early 2000s with WWE, it was originally WWF when I went there.
Right.
ECW was something special. It was a smaller company that had a really good base of hardcore fans. WWE was just like, it's just like, wow, you're in like a whole new world, just with the operations and such a large company, a global company, and TNA was, I went there right when they were just starting to move forward, and I put in, I want to say 5 years with WWE, 2 or 3 with ECW, and then 7 with TNA, and a lot of years in TNA. So it was, and you watch it go too. and it was a good experience. I mean, I came away with working with a lot of great talent there, along with WWE and ECW. Like Abyss, talented guy. AJ Styles, I had a couple scaffold matches. One guy, James Storm, so much talent, like a lot of raw talent there too, and I was happy to work with, and even working the last couple of years with Ring of Honor, a lot of good, young, hungry talent, they've got a great core base of fans, so it's been fun working there too. So,
who do you say from whatever company or era, since you've wrestled so many eras, was your biggest influence in the business?
Believe it or not, I've just been blessed in every level. I've wanted to learn more, so I did, and I had the opportunity to work with a lot of guys. And once I got to a certain level, help guys out, and still people are helping me out, and I'm still learning. I'm helping, a lot more people out now because I've been doing this for 19 years. But when I went over to work for Otto Vons, in Hanover, Germany, and Graz, Austria, and Bremen. I worked with guys like Fit Finlay, before I came back to WCW. And that was 97, 98. I did the tournaments over there, and I learned so much. And then from there, beginning in 99, I went to ECW. And, so, like, I worked with guys like Tony St. Clair over there. And, you're working every night for 38 days, one town. Then you get a week off, then you're working every night for 62 days straight, in the same building or tent, So it was you could not learn,
Okay.
The only way you couldn't learn is if you didn't want to learn and thought you knew it all. But very few guys.
Those guys don't last.
No. And, there's so many greats that come from over there, like Dave Taylor, so many guys, like Eddie Guerrero worked over there, and so many guys. Rambo was a big star. Otto was a big star. The list goes on and on. Ultimate Warrior even did a championship match over there. I think Brett was over there in the late 70s or early 80s. Yeah, the list goes on and on. Great area, great territory to learn.
Okay. I asked this of any wrestler that's pretty much I grew up watching.
Whatever rumors you heard, they're untrue.
No.
Or I was drunk. Not obligated to admit to what shenanigans went on. I'm kidding.
No. We're not going to bring up the Rhino Rooney.
No.
No, we're not.
Oh yeah, did you hear about that?
Yeah, we seen it.
Oh, did you? It's beautiful.
But did you ever get the pleasure of working with Macho Man Randy Savage?
No, I did meet him a few times when I was down. I think it was in '95. Look it up, Terry Richards. See, this is something Triple H need, because forces that cannot be explained brought us together. Because if you look up Terry Richards, some people call it a job guy. I was an enhancement talent. I was wearing a red singlet, Terry Richards. I think it was in Canada. It wasn't Regina. It was Brampton or somewhere in Saskatchewan, I think. But I was wrestling Henry Godwin.
Okay.
And he went to slap me or what. He beat me. I was only about a year into the business, not even. So he got me, and my hair was about yay long, and he was coming out, and Triple H comes running, Hunter Hearst Helmsley comes running out. Actually, they were in a feud. He gets slopped. He was actually coming out to save me. Then, when I was working against Kane, Triple H and Austin came out, beat the crap out of Kane. Some people say because they were in an angle. No, the primal forces of nature were bringing us together. So look for a tag team, Triple H and I, down the road. It'll never happen, but look for it.
So the wrestling business, in your opinion, is strong.
My point is Triple H saved me
Okay.
for reasons that cannot be explained yet. So.
So you think the wrestling business is strong?
What's that?
It's strong right now, the wrestling business. It's not going through its low. It's at its peak right now.
No, there's so many wrestling fans out there that people, it's. I think if the economy was better, it would be, because a lot of people are holding on to their cash. It's just tight. It's like fuck. It's just sluggish. But anyways, but it's still strong. Like, people will pay for entertainment, and then people love, the products that people are putting out there. And, we like to bitch, and say, oh, it could be better, it could be this, but, are we ever happy?
No.
So we could, cry about this TV show and that movie and, what we would have done better. But let's face it, we all go out there wanting to hit a home run. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get on base, So we all go out there and do our best.
Okay. I'm hoping, you were the last ECW champion?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
You didn't know that? Hey, thanks.
No.
Thanks for watching my stuff, kid.
My last question was that you think we're going to see you in the WWE Hall of Fame someday?
I don't think so. It's just, I think my career was too short. I don't, people are starting to throw around legend and stuff. I think it's just because I've been hanging around for so fucking long. I've accomplished a lot of things I'm proud of, I'm still young. I just turned 38, and there's so much of my life I have to live. Wrestling is my career, So many people have passed so much on, from just sitting in the locker room with Ric Flair for a year and a half in TNA, talking to him about wrestling every time. And after 6 months, I asked him, I go, Rick, you know what I'm doing? He goes, yeah, you're picking my brain. Because I'd ask him about angles, how they worked, why they worked, what made them work. I wasn't sitting there acting like, a crazy fan. I wanted to learn the business. Fuck. How many people would love to have his ear? Yeah. We changed in the same locker room, and, and it was just picking his brain and just learning so much. And, I can pass things on, I love talking to him about the Harley race and, and him and the cage match and, the feud and this and that. And Harley Race was such a great, performer in the ring, it was just, I heard a very tough man.
Yes.
So, you didn't want to upset him, but, and that's the thing, I think, what I can take away is people look up to me in wrestling, because I treat everybody with equal respect. And I don't mind helping people out. Like Sabu helped me so much, things to do and some things not to do, So, and that goes with a lot of people,
All right, cool. So. Anything that you want to promo that's coming up for yourself?
No, I just got to get on Twitter, I guess. Actually, I think there is a Twitter thing. I think it's 313 Rhino with a Y. Or Rhino with a Y 313. One of the two. It's me sitting on a motorcycle. Yeah. Which I never rode a motorcycle, but we were doing a film that was called Death from Above with Kurt Angle. Yeah, and they had motorcycles there. I was supposed to be a biker. But yeah, I didn't ride the bike. He killed us and then drove off on the bike. So I look cool. I do.
Well, we appreciate your time.
But yeah.
And that interview was with Rhino. If you want to listen to the full interview, there's another about 4.5 minutes of that interview on our Facebook page, facebook.com/damage365, as Rhino started getting into his love of Walmart and the $8 Blu-ray bin and flossing and a whole bunch of other very, very interesting things that had nothing to do with wrestling. But he had a good time, so he was loving it. So we want to recap right now some of the events that went on at Bizarre AC. Got to meet in person, like we said, Jazz and St. Clair. She gave some photo ops. Those were also on our Facebook page, facebook.com/damage365. We also got to meet with former WWE star Gene Snitsky. And all these people were there doing, it was basically a horror con. It was a convention for horror movies. And with Gene, we discussed his future engagements with JCW. And like I said, he'll sit down and do an interview with us. And I was also supposed to go to the 6-year anniversary show of Warriors of Wrestling in Staten Island, New York. But due to the snow, I was not able to make the commute. Got halfway home from Atlantic City, and the snow was coming down pretty good, and I just did not want to chance that. But let's go to a commercial break. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. Over a decade of excellent dining experience. Dine in, take out, or free delivery. We feature over 25 different types of pizza pies, and also will create anything you want. Our sauces are made fresh daily and use only the freshest ingredients. We also have good old-fashioned style entrees, cooked like your mom used to make. From wraps, calzones, rolls, and pasta specials galore to calamari and soups, all in a cozy atmosphere. Call today or stop on in.
We're back from commercial, and we're going to be joined in about 1 second from our guest for today. She is a former 13-time world champion and 2-time tag team champion and competitor of New Jersey's J Cup. Please welcome to the show, Angel Orsini. Welcome to the show, Angel.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. What a great day of Sunday football. Glad I was snowed in and able to watch some of these games.
That's so awesome. Are you still a New Jersey resident?
Yes, I am.
All right. So you got to deal with the nonsense in the snow yesterday, as we did. Driving home from Atlantic City yesterday, it got pretty interesting about halfway home.
Yes, it was a brutal storm. I live close to Pennsylvania side of New Jersey, and we got a serious amount, like 6 inches at least, maybe even 7.
Wow. All right. I didn't get that much, but it was just fun because in Atlantic City it was doing nothing but raining, and then the closer you got to central Jersey, the more and more snow was appearing, and then visibility started to get bad. I had to cancel my trip to Staten Island to go see Warriors of Wrestling show, but everybody got home in one piece. But let's enough about my commute. Let's get into the reason why we asked you to call the show. I mean, we want to brag about you a little. Like I mentioned, you're a former 13-time world champ, 2-time tag team champion, winner of the J Cup in 2009, runner-up in 2008 and 2010, and also a female wrestler who was ranked 22nd out of the top 50 female wrestlers in the world. That's a very short amount of what's on your resume, but that's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you very much. I can tell you what, my body sure feels like it in the cold of the winter.
I could imagine.
Those tables catch up to you eventually. But yes, I've been very blessed, and I worked very, very hard to achieve the things that I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to achieve. And it's been so wonderful. My life in wrestling and women's wrestling, it's like a sisterhood. I have some of the greatest women in wrestling are also like my dearest friends, and so such great people. So the wrestling was the bonus. I mean, I love being in the ring, and it's, for me, it's an amazing experience. It's like everything slows down, like in the Matrix almost, and it's like that 6 minutes or 20 minutes, however long it is in the ring, just seems like it's not even in this world. It's like
How exactly did you get involved in wrestling?
I started in martial arts about 20 years ago. I lived in South Florida at the time, and my boyfriend at the time was taking martial arts, so I thought it was a good opportunity to join and spend time together. And before you knew it, I became a black belt, then I became an instructor, and then I got the opportunity to compete in MMA. But we didn't call it MMA then. It was like Shudo or shoot fighting, and I went to Japan. It was an amazing experience going to Japan. It's kind of hard when you start off in this business in front of 25,000 people, and then you go into like a gymnasium somewhere where there's like 50 people. But going to Japan, I met a lady named Reggie Bennett, who was a Glow wrestler, and she is the one that convinced me I should give pro wrestling a chance, that I would love doing it.
Okay.
So when I came back from Japan, I met this woman named Liz Chase, and she was a teacher. She had a school in West Palm Beach, and I would do my martial arts training in the day in Miami, drive all the way to West Palm Beach. It was a 2-hour ride on my motorcycle. And, I got to meet China. China was my first match. I mean, it's just been like one great thing led to another great thing in this business, and I just kept going through each door. And
well, I saw they got a long laundry list of famous wrestlers that you've gotten into the ring with, teamed up with, went against. I listed a couple. I just wanted to ask you how it was to wrestle the likes of Luna Vachon and Lita.
Yeah, going with Lita, that was an amazing experience. We went to Peru together. We were the only 2 girls on the show. We left out of South Florida with a big group of people to Lima, and we went into the Andes Mountains. We wrestled on this ring that was a boxing ring that they were stapling bed sheets to for our canvas. Oh, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. We were in the boonies.
Wow.
But, we managed to have a good match, because once the guys took a bump in that boxing ring, they went right through that plywood. You couldn't even wrestle in the ring by the time it was our match. There were big holes everywhere.
Oh my goodness. Not well thought out in advance, I guess.
No, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, these people, the language barrier of trying to explain what you need to do a show like that when you're going, it's a third world country. It's some things there is no translation for, and that's why you really need somebody over there that's more competent in the production end of it to actually have that stuff for you. I mean, it was crazy, but, something I'll never forget. Neither will she.
How did you get, I don't want to say mixed up, making it sound negative, but Dusty Rhodes as someone who actually was one of the people that trained you?
Well, that was just through ECW. So, basically, I started in the business, and Luna Vachon was my mentor up until, when she was on TV for WWE. So then I went and I met Lita and did the tour, and then everybody from ECW started telling me that, she was going to leave and that there was a spot open. And then when I was with ECW, that's how I got to know Dusty Rhodes real well, and he was just a terrific man. And his whole family, they're such good people. And he would always try to mentor me and teach me something. Real sweet, very amazing people. So I stayed in Atlanta, Georgia a lot. I had a friend that lived there. So when I was on the road with ECW and we were doing like Kentucky, Tennessee, Atlanta, and all down there, I would just stay out of Atlanta.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have to drive all the way up from Fort Lauderdale, because then, that's like tagging another 10 hours on whatever drive it is.
Yeah.
So.
Also, how was it to I guess, I don't want to say work with, maybe more like work for, I guess he was the boss at the time, but Paul Heyman?
Paul Heyman is really an amazing person. He is, he's such a great motivator. And let me tell you, we really believed all the way up until the end that, ECW was going to end up being on USA Network or, some other channel, and it just never happened. So it was heartbreaking experience. We all went through that together, and I'll tell you what, every person in ECW gave 1,000% what they had, and they gave it because Paul, could get that level out of you. He just took people that never would have had a chance in this business and gave them the opportunity, and it's just an amazing experience for everybody to go through together with the fans of ECW too, which they're like an entity of their own, and what they brought to each ECW show. Just so sad that magic is not really exists anywhere else on TV for people to experience and go and be a part of. Just, I feel so sad for wrestling fans that they don't get to see that, and Paul doesn't have his own thing, you know, that he has to do what he's doing now, WWE.
Yeah, I mean, he gets a bad rap because of the villain role that he plays. I mean, he is the ultimate heel with WWE. But we spoke to Rhino last week at a JCW event, and a couple of weeks ago we spoke to Al Snow, and of course ECW was one of the main parts of the conversation. And you can see when they're discussing ECW, you can just see the love in their eyes of what they miss from wrestling with ECW, and how close you guys were to the fans, because it was... Not to say it was kind of like wrestling in a bingo hall, but it kind of had that same feel. You were really, really intimate with the fans, and it's not like WWE where, you know, you're performing in front of 40,000 people and there's really no intimacy between the fan and the wrestler. ECW was special.
I don't think that WWE really sells out 40,000 people every arena they go to.
No, I was just using it as a round number.
Yeah, that's like very over-exaggerated, I think. And I think part of the reason why WWE doesn't have the amount of attendance that they used to have for all their house shows and everything is because when it was competitive between all the companies, it actually generated more interest from the general population.
Yes. And
it gave people more creative freedom. And people have to understand that wrestlers are characters. We take on a whole persona to entertain people. That's part of what we're doing. And when you have people that are telling you what to do, and you know this is the stupidest thing I've ever had to do before, because people who don't know and understand my business are telling me to do things that don't make sense, but because I need my paycheck and this is the only place I can work, I'll do it.
No, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse when I constantly say, program after program, that the reason why WWE is so watered down and just very predictable and everything else is because it has no competition. When there was the Monday Night Wars with WCW, at least, you know, somebody was setting the bar and the other company was trying to chase it and go above it. Now WWE... It settles for mediocrity because it doesn't have to beat anybody, because TNA is not competition to them, and they know it. So, you know what? Here's our product. You either like it or you don't like it, because we just, and I hate to say it, you just don't. They don't care.
Yeah, that's the way I think, and I feel like the fans are smart enough to know that that's exactly what the company's saying to them. I think it's so sad. Because, you know, the bar was here and now it's all the way down here, and it really, really is. And there's really no chance for anybody to get to see anything else, and that's going to be the commercialized version of pro wrestling, and I think that that's so weak.
And you got this pay-per-view happening tonight with tables, ladders, and chairs, but you have this whole new amendment policy to the wellness program that there's no more chair shots to the head. There's basically no more blows to the head with anything but punching. And how does that just is going to dilute the whole ladders and chairs kind of thing? Because, you know, I mean, obviously nobody wants anybody to get a concussion. We know that. But if you're doing the right thing and you're trained properly, accidents will happen, but the chances of them are very slim. So if there's so many accidents going on where these guys are taking on so many concussions, that means someone on either side of the ring is just not doing their job properly.
Well, I mean, it's not that easy. I mean, it's not like we do it once a week. And, you know, you're wrestling a lot. So the more that you wrestle, the more chances of you getting hurt. I mean, I've done tables, ladders, and chairs matches and steel cage matches, and I have shattered my foot, and I have 10 stainless steel screws in my foot and 2 rods that go through it. It took them 6.5 hours to piece my ankle back together.
Yeah.
And that happened in ECW Arena, but not under ECW. I've had serious concussions. When I did the WSU match, the steel cage match, I don't remember the whole end of the match after that big belly-to-back suplex. And, I mean, I've been wrestling 17 years. But when you're coming from 10 feet or higher, I found through experience, you land fine the first time, but the whiplash of your body actually is going to bounce off the ground. And you're going to go and hit again. And when you hit that second time, it's just so hard not to hit the back of your head, and it hurts. I mean, I had a really bad concussion from that for like 2 weeks.
Ugh. Well, like I said, I know injury is going to happen. I'm not, not taking it away from anybody what they put their bodies through. I'm the biggest component that they should unionize wrestling and get you guys pensions and medical and everything else that other sports athletes get. And I think it's kind of grimy that you guys put yourself out there as independent contractors and you put your body on the line at your own expense.
Oh, well, you don't have to tell me. Listen, I'm getting my master's this May in Business Management Employment Relations from Rutgers University, and
congratulations.
I know all about union. As a matter of fact, I'm a union specialist. That's what my degree is, HR and union and non-union workplace. And I've always said that and had that discussion with my professors during my undergraduate studies for the same thing. And they told me it would be something that would benefit wrestlers and entertainers everywhere. I might do that actually for like a thesis.
I would definitely do that, and if you need any contributions or little comments, feel free to give me a call, because I've been pro union for wrestling since the late '80s, and it's so sad to see guys like the Iron Sheik and Kamala and guys that can't afford surgeries because they just didn't know how to invest their money properly back then, and now they don't have any.
Well, I think some people, unfortunately, are very reckless and careless with how they take care of themselves in wrestling. That makes it harder for the people who should be treated seriously and take care of themselves. To have those benefits, just like a police officer or teachers have. Some kind of benefits so that they can get at least medical care, to carry
I also think
through.
you guys should be getting a pension.
Yeah, I really do think that they should. But the problem with that is it's just so unregulated for promoters to come and go, and, how would you track everybody's dues into that?
Hey,
I don't know.
If they can do it with bowling.
I trust with a lot of money.
If they can do it with bowling, I think they can do it with professional wrestling.
You would think, but there's so many problem children in pro wrestling. I love them all, but...
So what's currently going on with your career right now, besides school?
Well, I am recreating a website, and I want to make what I'm doing. I partnered with somebody I'm at school that's getting their degree in IT stuff, so we had a concept of making like a broadcast channel on the internet.
Okay.
And I want to be like the programmer of it, and it's going to be mostly about women's wrestling, but I'm also going to do, like a little TV shows, and also continue to create wrestling matches by going and performing on shows and videotaping new matches to release for people on my own little channel.
That sounds like, well, besides, it's very, very time consuming, but it sounds very interesting, and I think female wrestling needs to be exposed in New Jersey a little bit better. And, but the majority of our guests that call in are female wrestlers, and, you guys are just as good, if not better, than a lot of the guys. And I've seen matches where some of you have wrestled guys and held your own just as well as they do, and you should get just as much exposure as they do.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate your encouragement and support. And I am, once I get closer to it being built, like my part of it, I will ask other girls in this business if they want to collaborate and have their own little mini channel on my thing. So I think it would be helpful to other girls too. Yeah,
you have your own little network. Get out there, and it could be like a video. It could be a video portfolio for a lot of these wrestlers, especially if if they're moving and they don't have all their wrestling matches documented with video or on the internet. They can use kind of that station to promote themselves, almost, like I said, like an audio or video portfolio for themselves.
Right, and it'll get them more exposure, and they'll probably get hired for the next level faster and be in more control of it for themselves.
Yeah.
I think that women wrestlers should be in charge of their own promotions and not have men run their lives and tell them what to do in wrestling. I think it's bad for them as a woman. And I think that they should develop their own individuality and their own creative ideas, because I think each woman knows better who she is and how she would like to express herself than some guy, because most guys, let's be honest, they look at a girl who's attractive and fit, and all they care about is sex, and continuing to exploit that part of each woman when it's really not necessary. It's better for them to show all the talent that they have and their, expression of who they are.
I agree with that, and I think that's the major problem. That's what's wrong with the WWE Divas division, is they got away from wrestling and they got more into kind of the pinup type girls, and you can do that if they know how to wrestle. But if they can't wrestle, then you're just prancing around a magazine model. And that's why, I like the likes of AJ Lee and Natalya and Caitlyn, because they are very beautiful, but they'll still kick your ass in the ring.
Well, listen, my beef is not with those girls. I think those girls are probably better than they're given the time and opportunity to be.
Right.
Because one problem I've always seen with the WWE is how little time they give the girls. They give those girls their entrance music and everything 3 minutes or 4 minutes. Who's going to be able to show you how good they can wrestle when they get 90 seconds of wrestling in?
Right. Well,
that's not very fair, and the people want to see it more, but this is the thing. The WWE never promotes women's wrestling more than just as if they were midgets on the show. That's really the way that they feel about it.
And it wasn't always like that, because in the 80s, with the likes of Sensational Sherry and Wendy Richter, and even at Moolah at the end of her career, they were very highly promoted. Any house show that I went to, whether it was locally in New York or Madison Square Garden, if you got a card, a poster of the event, those women were advertised right smack in the middle of that poster with the men.
Well, Moolah would get equal heat that whoever was wrestling Bruno Sammartino would get.
Mm-hmm.
It's just from what everybody knew who she was and hated her instantly. So, and I think even at one point when it was China and the girls' division was good and Molly Holly was there was a time when women's wrestling was actually good on WWE. And if they would only bring that back, I think TNA does a better job of promoting women. They get, their full time to the ring and back. They get their own characters. I think they do a better job.
I agree with you. I like them. Is anything else you want to promo? Because we're about under a minute.
Oh, okay. I would just say for when my website is done to be announced, keep your eyes open on my Twitter, which is at The Angel Orsini, and my Facebook is also The Angel Orsini, and it's a fan page. Go ahead and like me, but when I'm ready to redo the website and launch it, that's where all my news will be coming from.
All right, awesome. It was great.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to be here.
Very welcome.
So nice to meet you, and I hope you'll have me on again in the future.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you real soon.
Okay, take care, and happy holidays.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Angel Orsini. Great interview. This is the end of our show, number 36. We hope to see you next week as we have Lady B from NYC. We'll talk about her new program coming up on our last show before the holidays. Take care, guys.
Time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time. Turn all of the lights on over every